When CMOS Dave challenged Muggsy for the ARW Pro Championship, I immediately stopped seeing a wrestling storyline. I started seeing the plot of Fist Fight. Muggsy looked ready to end this man's existence, while CMOS Dave looked like he accidentally got booked into the title match after saying the wrong thing backstage. And honestly, that's what made the segment entertaining because indie wrestling works best when personalities feel larger than life.
Remember when they tried to count me out? Count me up. Now all I do is count it up. Count it up. Tell them haters look at me now. Every day payday on my fucking calendar. Hey, I remember when the niggas down and out. Down and out. Man, ain't nobody try to help me up. They help me up. Man, tell them haters look at me now. Look at me now. Every day payday on my fucking calendar. Hey, hey, hey.
Yo, this is the Third Eye Wrestling Podcast, come to you by Freestyle Friday, where we're talking independent wrestling. And today we are talking ARW Pro that just gave us one of the wildest weekends in independent wrestling history. And somehow it turned into a live action version of the movie Fist Fight. And that's not even the craziest part of the night. We got 6 power bombs, referee stoppages, suspensions, betrayals, tag team chaos, and one of the coldest heel turns I've ever seen on an indie scene in a minute. So let's talk about it. First, we're going to talk about CMOS Dave, because respectfully, somebody please tell me I'm not the only one that sees Charlie Day from Fist Fight every time this man walks out. And Muggsy James out here carrying that intimidating energy like the indie wrestling version of Ice Cube. So when CMOS Dave challenged Muggsy for the ARW Pro Championship, I immediately stopped seeing a wrestling storyline. I started seeing the plot of Fist Fight. Like, Muggsy looked ready to end this man's existence, while CMOS Dave looked like he accidentally got booked into the title match after saying the wrong thing backstage. And honestly, that's what made the segment entertaining, because indie wrestling works best when personalities feel larger than life. You had the underdog energy and the intimidation factor, and a crowd that understood the dynamic instantly. That's good wrestling storytelling. Now, if ARW leans into that dynamic even more, you might actually have something memorable on your hands. Now, let's talk about the most brutal thing on the card. Brendan Balling, the OVW Rush Division champion, got destroyed by Kevon Lee. And I don't mean competitive loss. I mean Kevon Lee walked into that match like he had unpaid bills and Brendan owed him money. 6 power bombs. 6. The referee literally had to stop the match. That wasn't wrestling anymore. That was a crime documentary. And what makes it crazier is Brendan came in with championship credibility already attached to him because of OVW. So the fact Kevon Lee steamrolled him the way he did instantly elevates Kevon. That's how you make a monster. Not 50-50 booking, not distractions, not roll-ups, pure domination. And every powerbomb felt more disrespectful than the last. By the 4th one, I was sitting there like, all right, somebody check on this man. And Kevon still wasn't done. If ARW Pro is smart, they capitalize on this immediately, because Kevon Lee now looks like one of the most dangerous people on the roster. Then we got Zach Buchanan versus James Creed for the Indiana State Championship. Now, for most of you who don't know, Zach Buchanan has one of those wrestling family trees people may not fully realize. He's the son of Bull Buchanan, who WWE fans also remember as B Squared, alongside John Cena when he first started, his basic thugonomics gimmick, the Doctor of Thugonomics gimmick. And he's also the brother of Brooks Jensen, who's in NXT. So there's already built-in expectations. You can see the wrestling DNA. I can most definitely see it. But James Creed survives thanks to interference from Jerome Summers. Um, and that's where the drama escalates because the general manager, Joey Boom Boom, had already banned Semper Tunnel, which is Jerome Summers and Jake O'Neill. He banned them from ringside. So Jerome interfering basically spat in the face of management. And Joey Boom Boom finally had enough and suspended Jerome Summers. That suspension became important later because suddenly Semper Tunnel is missing a member heading into the tag team title match. And that opened the door for Joey Boom Boom to say, well, James Creed, since you can't finish your match, maybe you can, start and finish a match with someone else. You're going to team with Jake O'Neill and defend those tag team championships against the program, which ended up changing everything. This was cinema. Semper Tunnel versus the program, which was Jay Thunder and Nick Diamond for the tag team championship. Starts off very competitive. Jay Thunder and Nick Diamond looked locked in. They looked focused. They looked united. Then the miscommunication happens. Look, Nick accidentally wipes out Jay Thunder with the crossbody, and you can feel the tension, but Jay keeps it together. And honestly, that's what made this good because he didn't instantly snap. He bottled it up. And then the match shifts. Jay Thunder gets tagged in and suddenly turns into an absolute machine. He dominates the closing stretch. The crowd thinks the program is about to win. Jay sets up for the spear. Everybody thinks it's over, but then he tags in Nick Diamond. And right there, you can almost feel the audience relax. Like, okay, cool. They're still on the same page. Nick is going for a Sweet Chin Music. It's paying homage to Shawn Michaels. Bam! Jay Thunder cuts him in half with a spear. Bro, the timing of it, perfect. The shock value, perfect. Even James Creed and Jake O'Neill looked stunned. That's how you do a betrayal angle. Because nobody in the building fully expected it right there. And then it gets worse. Semper Tunnel capitalizes. Heart attack. 1, 2, 3. And still, the tag team champions. And Jay Thunder stands there basically saying, I don't need Nick Diamond. I don't need the program. I'm my own entity. Powerful words. And Uncle Drip Drip looked heartbroken. That visual matters because managers are usually the masterminds, but this time he was completely blindsided. And then Jay still wasn't done. He goes back in the ring, spears Nick again, and steals the chain right off his neck before he leaves out. That's villain behavior. Not frustration, not misunderstanding. Villain behavior. Understand this. ARW Pro honestly delivered one of the most story-heavy indie shows I've seen in a while. You had brutal squash story violence, authority drama, faction tension, and a massive betrayal angle. That's the stuff that keeps people invested because now I need to know what happens to the program. Is Jay Thunder fully gone rogue? Does Nick Diamond get revenge? What's next for Kevon Lee after committing attempted unaliving? And can CMOS Dave survive his own personal fist fight with Muggsy James? Drop your comments, drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you love wrestling with real storytelling, like and subscribe to the Third Eye Wrestling Podcast. I'll see y'all tomorrow morning where I give my review on Friday Night SmackDown. Y'all be smooth.